Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. It was Christmas at Camelot, and the great hall of King Arthur was filled with joy. The round table was gathered, and knights and ladies feasted beneath banners of scarlet and gold. Music filled the air, and laughter rang through the court, for the young king loved merriment, and would not sit to dine until some marvel had been shown, some tale told, or some adventure begun. But that year the marvel came unbidden. Suddenly the great doors burst open, and in rode a knight unlike any the court had ever seen. He was a giant of a man, towering above all others, yet it was not his size alone that caused the hall to fall silent. His armor was green as new leaves, his skin green as spring grass, and even the great war horse he rode was the color of emerald. In his hand he held no shield or spear, but instead a mighty axe, its blade gleaming like a crescent moon. The Green Knight's voice was deep and thunderous, yet not unkind. "I come in peace," he declared, "but I bring a challenge. If any knight here be bold enough, let him strike me one blow with this axe. Yet in return he must swear to meet me in a year and a day, so that I may strike him in kind." The court sat frozen. Some knights shifted uneasily in their seats, while others frowned at the strangeness of it. Arthur himself, unwilling to let fear shame his hall, stood to take the axe. But before he could, a young knight rose, his nephew Sir Gawain, famed already for his courtesy and honor. "My liege," said Gawain, "let this venture be mine. It is not fitting that a king should risk his life when his knights are sworn to serve him." Arthur gave his blessing, and Gawain stepped forward. The Green Knight dismounted and knelt, offering his neck without fear. Gawain raised the axe, and with one sure stroke struck the giant's head clean from his shoulders. The hall erupted in shock, but the marvel had only begun. For the Green Knight calmly rose, grasped his severed head by its hair, and turned to Gawain. The lips of the head moved, speaking with a terrible clarity. "1 year hence at the Green Chapel you shall find me. There I will return the blow you have dealt." Then, with his head tucked beneath his arm, the Green Knight mounted his horse and rode from the hall, leaving only silence in his wake. The year passed quickly. As winter returned, Gawain set out to keep his word, though many begged him not to go. He rode through snow and storm, over mountains and through dark forests, seeking the Green Chapel. His journey was full of hardships, wild beasts, bitter cold, and many a lonely night with only his prayers for company. At last, weary and near despair, he came to a fine castle in the wilderness. The lord of the place, a hearty man with merry eyes, welcomed him warmly. "Rest here," the lord said, "for the new year is near, and the Green Chapel lies but 2 miles hence. You shall be refreshed before your meeting." So Gawain stayed. Each day the lord went hunting, while Gawain remained in the castle. But there was another test waiting, one he had not expected. The lady of the castle, fair and bold, came to Gawain's chamber each morning. With smiles and gentle words, she tempted him with kisses, urging him to forget his honor. Yet Gawain, courteous but steadfast, refused her advances. Still he allowed her a kiss each day, not wishing to seem ungrateful or unkind. At night the lord returned from his hunt, and, by a strange bargain, gave Gawain all he had won in the forest. Gawain in turn gave back what he had received that day, returning the lady's kisses to the lord with honesty, though not revealing their source. But on the 3rd day the lady offered something more, a green sash woven with enchantment. "Wear this," she whispered, "and no blow on earth shall harm you." Gawain, knowing he faced death on the morrow, accepted the gift, and this time he did not tell the lord of the exchange. At dawn on New Year's Day, Gawain rode out to the Green Chapel, a wild and eerie place overgrown with vines and moss. There the Green Knight awaited him, axe in hand. Gawain knelt, baring his neck. The Green Knight lifted his weapon. Once he feinted, twice he raised the blade, and each time Gawain flinched. At last the axe came down, but only grazed his skin, leaving a thin line of blood. Then the Green Knight cast aside his axe and laughed mightily. "Rise, Sir Gawain. You are proven true. I am the very lord of the castle, set under enchantment to test your honor. You kept your word and showed great courage. Only once did you fail, when you hid the green sash. For that, I gave you but a scratch." Gawain bowed his head in shame, vowing never to forget his weakness. But the Green Knight raised him up. "Do not be downcast. You are the worthiest knight I have known. Take the sash, not as a mark of dishonor, but as a token of your trial." When Gawain returned to Camelot, he wore the green sash across his shoulder, a sign of his fault and his lesson learned. Yet Arthur and his knights honored him, declaring that they too would wear a green sash, not to mock him, but to share in his burden and to remind themselves of truth and humility. And so from that day, the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight was told in every hall, a tale of courage, temptation, and the strength of a knight's honor.